Did everybody get signed in on the sign-in sheet?
Apparently so.
Okay, so if you would, please silence all personal devices. Our presentation today is about Winlink, and Tom's going to give this presentation for us.
Now? Okay?
According to the slides, yes.
Who can argue with a PowerPoint slide?
Oh, okay, so sorry. I jumped ahead.
Hi, Tom, WA9AFM.
I'm Sandy, KI5CHP.
Rich, WB5YBZ.
Paul, KI5KLM.
N5OHL,
Dave, WD5G.
Terry, W5TJS.
Bill, N5NUK.
Dwayne, AA5KD.
Marty, KI6KTI.
And he just tested for extra today.
Yeah.
OAN5OK.
Clarence, KB5IBY.
Al, KB1ZQ.
Mike, KW5U.
Bill, AD5BU.
Lucian, KD5LPV.
Jim, K5JRR.
Sam, KI5SAM.
Arnie, W5SRO.
Bill, K5QXB.
Don, KW5, or KB5KWB.
Dave, N3CI.
Eric, K3UUF.
Way back in the back.
He started this.
Steve, NA5SD.
Now can I start?
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk about Winlink today, not so much from the technical aspect, but what we're going to look at primarily the messages that you can generate in Winlink. You'll see a lot of presentations on Winlink. It's here's how to set it up, here's how to connect it, all the whistles and bells. But what we want to go in today and look at today is the listing of message templates which are contained within Winlink. I always like to say Winlink is kind of the medium is the message. How many have heard of Marshall McLuhan? 2 hands went up, okay, 3 for me. And I saw a hat tip back there, so I'll count that. Marshall McLuhan, Canadian media pundit, and he wrote a very popular book back in the mid-60s called The Medium is the Message. And his point was, it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. And so today we're going to be looking at how we're going to say it. You're pointing at me.
Can you make that louder?
No, this is as loud as it'll get. I have no control of
Okay,
that.
that's just
How
why.
close your mouth is to it is
What?
under your control.
I can swallow. Why? I feel like the guy that walks and talks in the night. Okay, hang on here.
Walks and talks.
Now, how many folks have used Winlink? Okay, goodly number, that's good. For those of you that haven't, does this page look kind of familiar? When you open your email software, kind of looks like this, doesn't have all the extra stuff on it. Winlink is a derivative or a spin-off of what's called Sail Mail, S-A-I-L-E. And it was developed from that program. The Sail Mail was designed for blue water sailors, the folks sailing their 40-foot catamarans around the Caribbean so they could keep track of the stock market. And it was adapted into amateur radio. So what we're going to look at today is not all the setup or anything. We're going to look at the messages. Does that look kind of familiar?
Very.
Yeah, just like what you would see when you open a new message format in your regular email address, and that's exactly how it's intended. They wanted Winlink to look as much like regular email as possible, because the main function of it is to move information between, dare I say the word, bureaucrats and other bureaucrats who may not be familiar with all the ins and outs of message handling. So they tried to make it look as much like a regular email message as possible. Now, instead of having to fill out all the information and do all sorts of trickery in a normal email, they've developed some templates. And we have a whole bunch of templates here. A lot of them you will probably never use. There are some, as you can see, that are specific to a state. Here's California, Hawaii, on down Oregon, South Carolina. Texas, you might have case to use because they're right next door. And their messages is somewhat of a normal matter. Also, we have from Washington, and then we also have weather messages. The ones we're mainly interested in are right here, the radiogram messages. How many of you have ever dealt with the ARRL radiogram? Ever made one out? Okay, for the number of folks. Well, this is it, and it's pretty straightforward. You select when the menu, get priority, routine, various handling instructions, fill in the blank, pretty much. Then you insert all of the information of who it's being sent to. And finally, down here, you enter their email address, because the whole point is when you put a radiogram message into Winlink, you transmit it, it goes to an RMS station, and it's automatically sent to the recipient. It comes to their computer just like any other email. It looks like just any other email. And that was the whole design, to make it as routine to the non-amateur recipient, so they wouldn't be confused saying, what is all this? It comes out and looks like just a regular email. Of course, down here you put your message. One of the confusion factors with the radiogram was the count, or over here, the check. That was supposed to be how many words were in the message. Well, there was always confusion of, okay, I have an address of 1234 Main. Is 1234 one word or 4 numbers? This takes care of it. This automatically counts and gives you your check number. Put your message down here, other information, and you submit it, and it goes out. Fire and forget. You got to keep in mind, if you're sending Winlink messages for people, you got to make them understand this isn't like you're sitting in your office using AT&T fiber optic. First, you got to find a station that's taking traffic, then you got to transfer that traffic. It can take a couple of minutes to get an email sent to an RMS.